Most people believe market crashes come out of nowhere. One day everything feels normal. The next day panic is everywhere. But here's the uncomfortable truth smart investors understand, and most people don't. The next crash is never sudden. It is always already building, quietly, patiently, right in front of us. The signs are there, long before the headline starts screaming. Not exactly the same, but close enough to make history feel uncomfortably familiar. And if you think this time is different, that belief alone might be the most dangerous signal of all. Before the last major crashes, people felt confident. Markets were hitting new highs. Analysts were optimistic. Social media was full of success stories. Debt was growing faster than income. Asset prices were rising faster than reality. Smart investors don't wait for confirmation from the news. By the time the media talks about a crash, it's usually already happening. They watch behavior, not headlines. They watch what people are borrowing, what they are ignoring, and what they are desperately trying to justify. You start hearing phrases like new era, permanent growth, or this system is stronger than ever. These words don't signal safety. They signal denial. When borrowing is no longer used for growth but for survival, the system becomes fragile. People borrow to maintain lifestyles instead of improving productivity. Companies borrow to buy back shares instead of innovating. Governments borrow to delay hard decisions. This creates an illusion of stability, but it's built on pressure that eventually needs release. Liquidity is another silent indicator. When money is cheap and easy, it flows everywhere. But when liquidity tightens, even slightly, the weakest parts of the system break first. And once fear starts spreading, it doesn't stop where it began. Pay attention to how markets react to bad news. In healthy systems, bad news causes small, logical corrections. In fragile systems, markets ignore bad news completely. That's when danger is highest. When reality no longer matters, correction becomes inevitable. It's not a question of if, but when. Smart investors also watch inequality. When asset prices rise faster than wages for too long, instability grows. This tension eventually finds an outlet, whether through political change, policy shock, or market disruption. Financial systems don't exist in isolation. They reflect society's pressure points. Another overlooked signal is how fast narratives change. When markets are strong, stories are simple and optimistic. When cracks appear, narratives become complex, defensive, and emotional. You start hearing excuses instead of explanations. Analysts stop talking about fundamentals and start talking about hope. Volatility itself isn't the enemy. Sudden calm is. Long periods of low volatility often precede massive market moves. It creates a false sense of security. People increase leverage because nothing bad seems to happen. But suppressed volatility doesn't disappear. It builds. Fear leads to opportunity. Most people only recognize the cycle in hindsight. Each one alone would be manageable. Together, they amplify risk. Complexity increases fragility. The most dangerous moment in any market is when people feel forced to participate. When you hear phrases like "you can afford to stay out" or "this is the last chance," caution should immediately increase. Fear of missing out drives bubbles. Fear of loss triggers crashes. Watch central bank behavior closely. When institutions shift from confidence to caution, it's rarely random. Policy changes often signal stress behind the scenes. By the time those signals are obvious to everyone, the margin for safety is already shrinking. Another critical signal is how fast money moves. Shorter cycles, faster trades, instant reactions. Speed increases vulnerability. Systems built for efficiency sacrifice resilience. When something breaks, it breaks everywhere at once. Smart investors don't try to predict exact dates. They prepare for scenarios. They reduce exposure to fragile assets. They build liquidity. They focus on quality over hype. They understand that avoiding major losses matters more than chasing maximum gains. If this sounds uncomfortable, it should. Crashes are emotional events long before they are financial ones. Denial comes first. Then panic.